was running late after a long day at work. The bus had already left, and the next one wasn't due for another hour. She reluctantly opened her Uber app and requested a ride. The app showed a nearby car and matched her with a driver named Tom. Tom arrived within minutes in a black sedan. Ella slid into the back seat, muttering a tired "thank you" as she buckled her seatbelt. Tom didn't respond, just gave a slight nod through the rearview mirror. Ella noticed his eyes were strangely expressionless, but she shrugged it off as exhaustion. The ride started normally. Ella stared out the window, watching the city lights blur past. But soon, she realized they were taking an unusual route. The familiar buildings and streets were replaced by darker, narrower roads. I think we're going the wrong way," Ella said, her voice shaking slightly. Tom didn't reply. Instead, he kept driving, the car's speed increasing. Panic started to creep in. Ella checked her phone, but there was no signal. "Hey, seriously, you're going the wrong way," she shouted, her voice breaking. Still, no response. The driver's eyes met hers in the mirror, and Ella saw a chilling emptiness. She tried the door handle, but it was locked. Frantic, she pounded on the windows, shouting for help. "Help me! Help me!" The car turned onto an even narrower road, surrounded by thick woods on both sides. Suddenly, the car came to a halt. Tom turned around, his face twisted into a grotesque grin. He spoke for the first time, in a voice that seemed to echo from deep within his throat. "We're here." Ella's heart raced as she saw a dilapidated cabin in the middle of the woods. She screamed and fought against the door. But Tom grabbed her arm with an iron grip and dragged her out of the car. She kicked and screamed, but there was no one around to hear her. As they approached the cabin, Ella saw something that made her blood run cold. Inside the cabin, through the dirty windows, she could see dozens of phones and personal belongings scattered around. Each item seemed to belong to different people. The realization hit her like a punch in the gut. She wasn't the first. Tom shoved her inside and locked the door. The darkness inside was suffocating, and the air smelled of decay. Ella stumbled, feeling her way through the pitch-black room, her mind racing for a way out. She heard Tom's footsteps approaching and knew she had to hide. In a corner, she found a trap door and quickly climbed down, hoping it would lead to an escape. Instead, she found herself in an underground chamber. The walls were lined with photographs, faces of previous victims, all marked with dates. Some photos had a big red X over them. Tom's voice echoed from above. "You can't hide, Ella." Her heart pounded as she realized he knew her name. She moved further into the chamber, finding a small tunnel. She crawled through, her breath ragged and her vision blurring from fear. Finally, she emerged outside, into the cold night air. She ran, her legs barely able to carry her. Not looking back. After what felt like hours, she stumbled onto a main road and flagged down a passing car. The driver, a kind elderly man, took her to the nearest police station. Ella told her story, but when the police arrived at the cabin, it was empty. No photos, no phones, no signs of struggle, just an abandoned, rotting cabin, The police dismissed her story as a figment of her imagination, a result of stress and exhaustion. Ella knew the truth, but had no proof. She deleted the Uber app, vowing never to use it again. Years passed, but Ella could never shake the feeling of being watched. Every time she saw a black sedan, her heart skipped a beat. She moved to a different city, trying to start fresh, but the nightmares followed her. One night, she received a package with no return address. Inside was a single photo, her own face, marked with a big red X. Tom was still out there, and he never forgot.